It was a quiet Wednesday morning, November 26th, 2025, one of those mornings when people in Abuja wake up, make tea, prepare their children for school, and try to believe that life is still normal. Yet beneath that calm surface, something far more unsettling was already in motion. A secret agreement had been signed thousands of miles away in Washington, and the Nigerian people were never told what was written in their name. For days, the government kept silent about their sudden trip to the United States. They never explained why the National Security Advisor met with the U.S. Department of War. They never revealed why a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, someone deeply involved in Nigeria's security file, had to be the one to go on Fox News and speak publicly about the real conditions America had handed to Nigeria. It wasn't the Nigerian government speaking, it was Washington. And that alone should worry every citizen. Because when a nation hides the truth about foreign demands, it's not hiding it from the terrorists, it's hiding it from the people. In this opening chapter of today's story, we step into a difficult but necessary conversation, one that many Nigerians may not be ready for, but absolutely deserve. What did the U.S. actually tell Nigeria behind closed doors? What agreements were signed? Why were Americans the first to reveal the conditions, while the Nigerian government avoided every question? And most importantly, what happens in the next 2 months when those conditions expire? If you care about security, sovereignty, and the future of West Africa, stay with me, because understanding this now may shape how you interpret every headline that will come in January and February. And before we go deeper, let me ask you, do you believe nations should be honest with their people about deals that affect millions of lives? If your answer is yes, then please stay until the end of this video. And if you value truth over silence, consider sharing this message so more people can see it. Long before the Nigerian public even knew something unusual had happened, the country's top security officials were already seated in a closed-room meeting inside a Washington building, one belonging not to the State Department, but to the U.S. Department of War. That detail alone spoke volumes. Nations do not visit the Department of War unless the conversations are difficult, serious, and heavy with consequences. And this particular meeting would reshape everything Nigeria believed about its own security. The Nigerian delegation, led by the National Security Advisor and joined by a small group of officials, arrived with the intention of seeking assistance against the worsening wave of terrorism at home. But what they received instead was an ultimatum, not a discussion, not a negotiation. An ultimatum. For days, the Nigerian government refused to brief the public about what was said. They returned home silently, without a press conference, without a national address, and without a single acknowledgement that a monumental demand had been placed upon them. Ironically, it wasn't a Nigerian official who first revealed what happened behind closed doors. It was a U.S. representative who went on Fox News and disclosed the conditions, almost as if to warn the Nigerian people themselves. So what exactly did America say? The first condition was surprisingly personal. The U.S. demanded the immediate release of Sunday Jackson, a man condemned to death in Nigeria under charges many consider politically motivated. Jackson, according to the video's narrator, was treated less as a suspect and more as a symbol, a warning to ordinary citizens that killing terrorists, even in self-defense, would not be tolerated. An American missionary who personally knew Jackson had spent months on Nigerian television urging the government to free him, insisting the world was watching. And Washington made it clear his release was non-negotiable. This is the first step, they reportedly said. The second condition was far more explosive. Nigeria must publish the list of individuals who sponsor terrorism within its borders. Not investigate them, not compile their names, but publish them openly for the world to see. This was the very list Nigerian officials once claimed they had completed years earlier, yet never released. In 3 years under President Tinubu, not a single financier of terror had been revealed to the Nigerian people, not one. According to the narrator, the reason was simple and deeply troubling. The list allegedly included people at the highest levels of government, individuals whose exposure could shatter the nation's political landscape. If the list were published, the world would no longer speculate about internal collusion. It would become official, documented, irrefutable. And then came the third condition. The most severe of all, Nigeria must disarm every major terrorist group within 2 months. 2 months to dismantle networks that have operated for years. 2 months to neutralize militants wielding heavy machine guns, armored vehicles, and explosives. 2 months to achieve what the Nigerian military itself has repeatedly failed to accomplish: Washington added a chilling warning: if you cannot disarm them within 2 months, we will. It was not a threat hidden in diplomatic language. It was a direct statement of intent and acknowledgement that the United States had already mapped the problem, identified the actors, and developed its own disarmament plan for Nigerian soil. The Nigerian delegation was reportedly instructed to return home and immediately publish the names of terror sponsors because without transparency, disarmament would be impossible. But after returning to Abuja, the government said nothing, not a word. No names were released. No explanation was offered, and certainly no public debate was allowed. Meanwhile, the narrator insists Nigeria signed multiple pages of documents